True Seeker. It is Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. ScamManDumbarseDan has his latest video trying to attack yours truly. And again, remember, this is the man who has ran away from the debate, refuses to debate, continues to take parts of my video and attempts to debunk them, which he's not even doing.
Continue to take part.
And let me figure out why I'm getting feedback on my end. Problem solved, my fault. But again, he continues to take segments of my videos and attempts to debunk them, which he's not even doing. And again, in his latest video, he further exposes how disingenuous of a person he is. So if you're out there, ScamManDumbarseDan, feel free to hop on the stream. I have pinned the link for how you can join the discussion. If ScamManDumbarseDan predictably does not show up, you know he'll be watching. He always responds to my tweets within 30 seconds. So he's out there watching. He's lurking. But if he doesn't come on, if somebody wants to represent ScamManDumbarseDan's position, apparently he had 3.7K likes already on this video that he just posted today. You can tell when YouTube doesn't mind your content, they allow you to get likes. When you're like yours truly, they take away your subscribers, they take away likes, they take away comments, they take away views, they delete your whole channel. Again, pretty much the only thing that's tolerated on YouTube is stuff that just toes the line of the authority, goes along with the narrative the media wants you to be in sync with. So anyhow, we're going to watch ScamManDumbarseDan's entire video. I'm not like him. I don't just take little bits and pieces. We're going to watch the whole video and respond to every last little bit. And we'll go back and also look at the video. I think this is the third or fourth video he's made about me, but we'll go back and look at this one from 8 months ago because, well, you'll see why. He makes fun of something in here. You can see what's on the screen. You can see the numbers. You'll see how he made fun of something in this video that then proved my point in the latest Artemis 1 launch, and he doesn't even bring it up. So, anyhow, let's watch ScamManDumbarseDan's video where, again, he only took segments of the video. So if you're the viewer, I mean, a lot of this stuff is out of context and you're missing other important points that were made. I'll catch you up to speed. But let's watch ScamManDumbarseDan because this is what we're responding to. So here we go. ScamManDumbarseDan, the latest from this person. Here we go.
Earlier this year, I did a video on a man who claims that gematria can predict things and went to great lengths to...
Oh, hold on. When I watched his video, I watched it a little bit faster. Let me slow it down to normal speed. Here we go.
Try and prove this. Here is a quick clip to jog your memory.
Again, been exposing for years how everything NASA does, and I mean everything, is by the numbers. I have a long chapter about this in my first book, Letters and Numbers.
Well, you won't believe this, but he's now done a video on NASA's new moon mission, Artemis 1. The problem is, he made this video before anything happened with Artemis 1 at all.
And let's just respond right there. He's like, the problem is, again, the video I did was based on what was posted in the article for the initial planned launch of Artemis 1, which was on Michael Jackson's birthday. This is supposed to be the latest moon mission on the moonwalker's birthday. And we'll talk about the significance of Michael Jackson turning 11 years old, the year of Apollo 11, the supposed moon mission, and how it was perfectly synced with his birthday. Because again, what I continue to show in this research is how news, sports, entertainment, how it's all synced together. Just like how we padded people's pockets the day of Artemis 1 when it finally launched. Guess who won in the NBA as a huge underdog with a huge payout? The Houston Rockets. Guess who had a nice upset the same day Artemis 1 finally made it to its orbit of the moon? The Houston Rockets. And guess who had another nice upset the very next day when Artemis 1 was again the focus in the news? The Houston Rockets. So again, what ScamManDumbarseDan's doing is misleading his lemmings and keeping them from seeing what's actually going on in the world, which can be very lucrative. You know? Again, it just makes me sick that all these personalities that get big views on YouTube, they're all con men, they're all supported by this totally fraudulent platform that hates free speech, and these people's views get boosted while people like me get deleted and censored who, again, are actually putting out facts and truth. The same video he took the segment out of, I talked about how Jackson, Mississippi was underwater. Jackson, Mississippi just happened to be underwater on Michael Jackson's birthday, and then the latest planned moon mission launch. Yeah, they did cancel it and moved it to another day. which was right after the death of the rapper Takeoff in Houston. Anyway, let's come back and watch ScamManDan as he, as he skips over the facts and just tries to cherry pick what he thinks he can beat in the argument. Anyway, here we go.
Stay tuned. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, ScamManDan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, I just want to give a quick shout out to my second channel, Run Man Dan. Does what it says on the tin. It's me running things, and quite recently running long thins. I had been banging on about it for months, but I did the half marathon des Sables in Fuerteventura. It was an extremely difficult race. It almost broke me. Click the link in the description and you will find that video to watch. It really is one of the best videos I think I've ever made. Please do check it out. I was in a lot of pain for that race, and if you want to see me in a lot of pain, then that is the place to go. Thank you very much. Right, back to today's video, which sees Zach from Geometry Effect News doing a video on NASA's Artemis 1. We join him midstream.
But again, the liftoff will be tomorrow, August 29th, which is crucial, which we'll talk about in a second.
Now, of course, Artemis 1 didn't actually launch until November the 16th.
And again, I just want you to notice how this guy works. It takes him like 4 to 6 months to respond to something. Why does it take him 4 to 6 months to respond? And again, I mean, this whole approach that he's taking, like, oh, and then again, it didn't. It's just like, it's such an idiotic approach. I did the video based on what the planned launch date was and the planned return date as it was put out in all of mainstream media, and showed why they chose those dates. And again, since he's not going to cover this, what I pointed out is the launch was supposed to be on Michael Jackson's birthday, and then the return date was supposed to be the day that, when counted through the last day of the year, are the last 83 days of the year. And how in Gematria, Michael Jackson equals 83. So does Detroit, Michigan, his hometown, on the 83rd meridian, which I call the 83 city. You might have missed what they did on Thanksgiving this year with the Detroit Lions' 83rd Thanksgiving game, as the Bills became 8-3. And the story was about the white supremacist mass shooter in Buffalo who cased the top store on the 8th day of the 3rd month. All things they were sure to bring you up in the ritual as they talk about white supremacy on Thanksgiving, a day where we get our revisionist history about how nobody counted until the white settlers came here from Europe. Again, what I continue to teach proves itself in spades. So that's what the video was about. Why on Michael Jackson's birthday, the man from Detroit, Michigan, Motown, the moonwalker, who again turned 11 the year of Apollo 11. So he cut all of that out of the video. I'll be sure to get in the rest too, because there's more. But he skips all of that and then makes it seem like, oh, well, he did all this stuff and that didn't even happen. Yeah, because I'm putting out a video on why the mission was planned for those days. I mean, this is so pathetic right here. 3.7 thousand likes. I mean, you must have an audience of straight up morons. Here we go.
He didn't predict that, did he?
Actually, we'll just start right here before we even get to the 42. Let's break down the significance of the launch on August 29th.
And again, just that little shitty comment. You know what we did predict? That the rockets would upset the day of the Artemis launch, which was a huge payout. Again, talk to all the people who won money. You guys can keep sending your money to ScamManDan, or you can support somebody who does some real groundbreaking work that puts a lot more money back in your pocket. Again, ScamManDan, a troll who will siphon a lot of wealth from you, or you can support me at a very modest contribution and make a lot more back, as thousands of people have found out in the years I've been putting out this work. And notice, I'm always here to debate right away when ScamManDan spews his BS. This guy, he has to put out an edited video 4-6 months after the fact that's always from a disingenuous point of view. Here we go.
241st day of the year. 241 is the 53rd prime number, and the moon landing was in 69, which was 53 years ago.
All of which is, of course, irrelevant because...
Actually, no, moron. It's not all irrelevant, because guess what? It's still 53 years after 69. You see how dumb this guy is? This guy, and again, for all of you who don't like that I use insulting words, tough. I use them because they're true. I'm sick of living in a world of fucking retards, which I would describe ScamManDan as. I would say this guy's probably a fucking retard. Oh, none of that's true anymore. Oh, really? Is it not still 53 years after 69? Because last time I checked, it's still 2022, you fucking idiot. Okay, next.
It launched on November the 16th, which is the 320th day of the year.
And by the way, 320. Very important number to those who run the show, which I educate about all the time. Roman Catholic Church, 320. That's why we're on their calendar. That's why we're speaking their language. You know, Apollo equals Catholic. Roman Catholic Church, 320. Remember when George Floyd was pulled out of the Mercedes-Benz ML 320 and killed in front of Police Cruiser 320 in the huge Jesuit Catholic divisive ritual? Again, follow the work and you can learn what these numbers mean. But again, this poor guy, he didn't realize that it is still 53 years later, and the initial planned date of the mission was the 241st day of the year, the 53rd prime.
Yeah, and the cube root of 320 is 6.8399, which is a totally random number.
July 20th, 1969, I guess technically July 20th and 21st, 1969. So we just passed the 53-year anniversary, and just shortly after that, now we're talking about the moon landing in Virgo. And one more time, Virgo is associated with Mary. The Catholic Church celebrates the Virgin Mary's birthday, September 8th. But then again, Mary associated with the moon. So
Mary is associated with the moon. Never heard that one before. Now,
and again, just because the moron hasn't heard that before doesn't mean it's not true. Jesus, the sun in the sky, that's why his birthday is celebrated on Sol Invictus. Again, for people who don't know, the Jesuit logo, Isus Hominum Salvator, IHS, those words add up to 274, like how the Catholic Church has celebrated the sun's birthday on 12/25 since 274 AD. Again, the Bible is astrotheology. ScamManDan doesn't know much about anything. Here we go.
Actually started this stream by defending astrology because Professor Dave called astrology nonsense. Love Dave.
And Dave is also a little twerp, you know? Dave is the kind of coward who talks shit, and then when he gets challenged, he has the video struck, which they take down. It's amazing how you can make a video about a Professor Dave, and I wasn't even rude to Professor Dave. I just challenged him to a debate, and he had the video taken down, and I got a 1-week suspension and a copyright strike. Meanwhile, YouTube doesn't do anything about all the trolls who make videos about me. Not that I report them or flag them, but again, I mean, there's certain people who are protected on this platform, and then there's other people who are not, you know. But yeah, again, what I said to Professor Dave is, could it be any more obvious, the astrology ritual of the moon landing in the time of Cancer, when Cancer is ruled by the moon? In Gematria, Cancer equals 44 like Armstrong. Cancer's astrological symbol looks like the number 69. You got the moon landing in Cancer in 69. Neil Armstrong. His full name, by the way, Neil Alden Armstrong equals 201, like the landing happened supposedly on July 20th, the 201st day of the year, which again is a huge number with the Jesuits in the Catholic Church, who created modern Freemasonry, which we'll talk more about in a moment. But let's continue. We're about to see just how disingenuous ScamManDan is. Here we go.
anyhow, perfect distance in years for a new tribute to the moon landing. And notice the launch is going to happen at Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 8:33 a.m.
Nope, it ended up being 1:47 a.m., which of course is in Eastern Time. For me, here in the UK, which of course is the real work time of the world, jokes, it was 6:47 a.m.
But again, it's funny that he acknowledged the 147 there a little bit, because he spent a lot of time 8 months ago making fun of what I said about 147 in space. But that was the local time of the launch at 1:47, and let's just go back and see what he tried to sort of bring up, but skip over there. Let's go back and watch his video from 8 months ago. Here we go.
Gematria and the parallels are undeniable. And notice how outer space and conspiracy are the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. If you watch the latest movie made by Hollywood about the moon landing starring Ryan Gosling, you'll notice twice in the beginning of that film, in the first 10 minutes, they put the number 147 on the screen. And I just want you to see how outer space and conspiracy are both 147.
And what's really spooky is the Art House Radio podcast reviewed the film First Man starring Ryan Gosling, and guess what episode of the podcast it was? number 147. Ooh. But seriously, I checked that opening scene, and the only thing I could see that had numbers on it was the altimeter when he was test flying that jet. And if that is what he's referring to, then I believe it was saying 47,000 and not 147.
Again, ScamManDan, anyone go watch the movie and see that they put the number 147 on the screen twice early in the film. I haven't watched it for a while, but I know they put it up twice early. It's on a chalkboard. It says V equals 147, which is easy to understand when you realize how these people speak in numbers. V is the 22nd letter of the alphabet, which is the master builder number in numerology. And if you spell out master builder, M would be the 13th letter, A would be the 1st, S the 19th, T the 20th. If you add up the letters, master builder's 147. Also, just on his reading in his space vehicle, there's a nice 147 on the screen. It is shown twice on the film in the beginning. And again, there's all sorts of documentation over the years of the use of 147 in the space missions. The latest Artemis 1 mission, they had to report that it launched at 147. So, I mean, don't you think that's pretty disingenuous to... I mean, you think you'd be like, well, I did make a video earlier this year making fun of what he said about 147, and now there's a launch at 147, so, I'm just going to shrug my shoulders and say, oh, it's probably a coincidence. And then he tries to make a point about just 47. Well, if you don't know anything about anything, ScamManDan, 47 is the number I teach about the most. It's not arbitrary that there's 47 degrees on the Masonic compass out of the Scottish Rite of France, and that number is also coded on a million different things. It's also not arbitrary that the White House, the first man to reside in it, was a Freemason, George Washington, and there's 147 windows on the building. If you write out U.S. President, it equals 147. If you write out President of the United States, it's 147. The number's not arbitrary. All right, let's continue.
These launch times are always specific. We talked about this with the James Webb Telescope back on Christmas. Anyhow, with regards to it being 33 minutes after the hour, again, gematria, if you're new here, very simple practice, goes back to the Pythagoreans, and really before that, it comes from Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. Again, look into the Hebrew alphabet where every letter is a number.
And of course, we've proved before that he uses these numbers to manipulate things. Sometimes he includes days when he's counting up through the days. Sometimes he omits days, whichever number suits him.
It's a tradition that's carried on through.
And again, when he gets to his example of manipulation, which he's going to show, again, it only shows that he's a moron. It only shows that he's a moron. This is not manipulating. This stuff is a system. And I've always taught it the exact same way. There's no manipulation. There's no cherry picking. There's no, let's do it this way this time and this way the next time. What he's saying is a lie. But let's continue.
Other alphabets, Greek, Latin, right up into English. And again, what's considered the most pure cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. So A's 1, B's 2, C's 3, D's 4, E's 5. Where it changes is when you get to J, the 10th letter, you take the numerology at 10. So 1 plus 0 is 1. So J is 1. K, the 11th letter, is 1 plus 1 is 2. L, the 12th letter, is 1 plus 2 is 3. Up to Z, the 26th letter, becomes 2 plus 6 is 8. When you use this cipher, Kennedy equals 33, so does federal, so does masonry, so does secrecy, so does order.
So does nonsense, claptrap, and jizzy. Just saying.
And again,
what a stupid argument. The launch was scheduled for 8:33 at Kennedy when the number is very important to Freemasonry. I mean, it's just, yeah, you can make up words and you can use it in a stupid way, or you can see the way it's being used. Again, to paint the picture, I do have a sister. We don't have the same father. Her father, is an alcoholic loser who had no common sense, who never made anything of himself. My dad's a pretty intelligent guy, always been good with math and numbers. My sister doesn't get this work at all. She's not very smart. She takes after my mom, who's horrible at math. Yours truly obviously gets it, and being the first person to break it all down and expose it to the world, I mean, my sister would watch this and she would agree more with ScamManDan, and the reason she would is because she's not very smart. And that's true about most people in the world. Again, ScamManDan likes to act like he's some big academic. ScamManDan, I was always top of my class. Straight A student, scholarships, slept through school, no challenge, dominated the science classes, the math classes, all of it. Again, this guy tries to act like he's some kind of brilliant guy, but he shows that he's a fucking retard. And that's the sad thing about this world. Most people are not very smart. I observed this as a 7-year-old and nothing's changed. When I was 7, I thought most of my classmates were pretty dumb. And they were. You know, it's why most people don't resonate with this work. It's because they're dumb. It's the same reason they fall for all the lies from 9/11 to COVID. Is ScamManDan or Professor Dave Explains making any videos about trust the science? The new science where cloth masks protect yourself or protect you from germs? The new science? The new science where you should just trust companies that have never made a vaccine anymore as they rush out a brand new experimental vaccine in 6 months? Trust the science. No, you don't see these clowns actually taking the time to try to debunk things that might save people's lives. You know? And by the way, for all the people out there who don't know, I have a book. You should read it because my prediction about COVID was dead on the money, which is a proven fact, in a book that came out in September of 2020. I said exactly when they would wind down their bullshit pandemic from understanding this knowledge. You know? And there's a lot of people who found my channel who now aren't dying from SADS and aren't having myocarditis, you know, because I said all this shit was going to happen before it was in the news, because I have a brain. Anyway, let's continue and listen to the moron a little bit more, and then, again, if you have intelligence, you'll see why I make him look like even more of a moron. For retards, you might not get it. You might be siding with ScamManDan. Again, low IQ types resonate with other low IQ types. That's the problem about this world. Inferior people don't realize that they're inferior, you know? They make fun of people who are more intelligent than them because they're too stupid to realize where they are in the discussion. Anyway, here we go.
The federal government, this is their mission, this is their launch time. Remember, in D.C., which is known as the Masonic City, you have the House of the Temple, the Masonic headquarters. Look into the architecture of that building. You'll see that it has 33 columns on the outside that are each 33 feet tall.
That actually is true, but it is so because it honours the 33 degrees of the Scottish Rite.
I mean, did you just hear that response? What a fucking retard. That is true, but it's because it honors the... No shit, you fucking retard. What do you think the odds are that masonry and secrecy and order and federal all equal 33? Are you that fucking dumb? God, I mean, this guy has a following? It pisses me off that these fucking losers are promoted by this platform to appeal to other lemmings. Listen how fucking dumb he is. That is like an unbelievably stupid response. No shit, you fucking idiot. That's the exact point that's being made. Do you think you just made some intelligent point? But that's because it's the highest degree of the Scottish Rite. No shit, you fucking idiot. Oh my God, it's just like, it's embarrassing how stupid people are. And this is why this fucking loser won't debate. Anyway, with regards to the Scottish Rite, for people who don't know, look it up because it's a fact. The astronauts who supposedly went to the moon took the Scottish Rite flag with them. Now here's what's funny about that. Michael Jackson, the moonwalker who turned 11 the year of the Apollo 11 supposed moon landing mission, notice from his birthday, his last birthday, August 29th, 68, again for people as slow as ScamManDan, let me make it extra big so you can follow, that's Michael Jackson. He was the moonwalker. Born on August 29th in 1958, the same year NASA was born. From his birthday to the moon landing was 325 days, and Scottish Rite of Freemasonry equals 325. Notice how moon also equals 57, like Scottish Rite. And remember, conspiracy also equals 57. Outer space also equals 57. Hopefully I'm talking slow enough for all the fucking retards. Featured artifact, a Scottish Rite flag that went to the moon. Oh. And how about this? Hopefully you can do the simple math. 365 days in the year minus 325 is 40. So that means Michael Jackson turned 11. 40 days after the moon mission, 40 days. And what does moonwalk equal? 40. Now, the other thing I forgot to mention is what year did Michael Jackson first moonwalk in? 1983. 83. What's Michael Jackson equal? 83. What's Detroit, Michigan equal? 83. What's its coordinate? The 83rd meridian. Again, this latest Artemis 1 mission was originally scheduled for Michael Jackson's birthday while Jackson, Mississippi was underwater. And it was meant to end on the day where from that day through December 31st are the last 83 days of the year, which is what I made my video about before they canceled the mission. So for you to come back 4 months later and be like, oh, see how dumb gematria is? Oh, not a very good prediction. It wasn't a prediction, moron. It was me breaking down the ritual of the planned date of the first moon mission in forever. God. It's just like, I mean, this guy is a fucking retard. And again, I mean, I almost get jealous and wish I was dumber. Because then maybe I could appeal to more people. Maybe I could figure out how to make gematria dumb enough like a presentation like this that would actually appeal to other morons. Because it seems to be all that exists in this world. It was Bin Laden in the cave. Didn't you see the way the buildings came down? Defying physics? Why didn't you make a video about that, you fucking retard? How 9/11, the only 3 steel frame buildings in history to collapse from fire. And you can't blame it on the 2 planes because the building that fell 8 hours later, where thanks to somebody from your country from the BBC, they broke the news 30 minutes before it happened. Why don't you do a video on that, ScamManDan? Or Professor Dave Explains? You know? Should have seen it when at 9/11 they wouldn't let us on the grounds. They had the police come out and set up a barricade and stand in front of us. And then you know who gets to walk on the grounds? The only people they let on? A group of Jews. Professor Dave Explains cousins. All right, here, let's continue with ScamManDan. This guy represents the new science. Put on your slave muzzle. The cotton fibers will keep out the germs.
Besides, all of that is irrelevant because it didn't take off at that time. Let's move on.
With regards to Atlanta...
Oh, he's just going to skip over, though, what he just went over, the 147, the number he made fun of 8 months ago. God.
42 days in the same cipher, outer space in Freemason equal 42. The highest degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in DC, the building with all the 33s, is 33. So...
Okay, I'm just going to pause because I just looked at the chat for the first time. There's probably been other comments like this, but blasted. Again, please click the link in the top of the comments and join the stream. And if you could just put blasted for your name, I'll know it's you. And come on and represent your position. Again, when people start their sentence with LOL, I always just know right away, I'm like, there's a fucking retard. That's a really common trait of fucking retards. They start their sentences with LOL. LOL. People actually believe? What am I talking about that you have to believe? I'm stating nothing but facts. Facts. That repeat and repeat by the same pattern. People actually believe this gematria horseshit? Come on the stream, blasted, and you can represent Professor Dave's position. And I guarantee you're going to leave the stream looking like a fucking loser. Come on and prove to me that you're not another ballless loser in the comment section. Come on. Come on. We'll be waiting. We'll be waiting for the ballless loser blasted.
42 days, launching at 8:33. Big numbers with Masonic history.
Except the mission is only lasting 25 days, and it took off on the 47th.
Well, this is what happens when we cover it 4 months later. Again, retard, all I did in that video, and see, that's the thing why he cherry-picked it, because he edited out where I showed the article. We did the dates in the article. So that your question, if you have a scientific mind, you should be like, well, wait a minute. Why was it initially planned to last 42 days if they could just do it in 25? Again, that's the real question. This guy is a fucking douche.
So that means that all of this is totally and utterly wrong. He bangs on about...
This is totally and utterly wrong. Your whole presentation and argument is totally, utterly disingenuous. Again, you guys, I have all the archived posts and articles, so you can go back and look and see that everything I'm saying is 1,000,000% correct. What he is talking about is my dissection of the initial article of the original launch date and original planned return date. This is just, I mean, there's nothing about his argument that's genuine. And that's why this coward won't debate. And you are a coward, ScamManDan. You are a coward. And you exposed yourself as a fraud. I mean, anyone who can't see that you're a fraud is also a fraud and liar to themselves, because you made fun of 147, and now guess what? The first big space mission since then launches at 147, proving the exact point I was making earlier this year, and a point I've also made several times before.
About 42 a lot here, so let's skip on a bit.
Now, this moon mission is to end in Libra. And notice how Libra has the gematria of 42 and also 39. And they've settled on this 42-day moon mission, but if you've been reading this story in days leading up to it, they were saying it was going to last between 39 and 42 days.
But again, now it's ending in Sagittarius, which is 45, I believe. And that has not...
Again, this is just stupid, because we're talking about the original planned dates of the mission. And just for the record, 144 and 153 are huge numbers of the Jesuits. JFK died in a huge 144 ritual in Sagittarius, for example. 144 days from meeting with the Pope. But yeah, obviously they reshuffled the ritual of what they did. It doesn't take anything away from what they initially reported.
Significance, but you can imagine my absolute distress when I realised that guff and beans equals 46.
So they've settled in at 42. But just notice how in the base ciphers, it's going to end in Libra, either way, which has the gematria of 42 and 39. And again, astrology has the gematria of 42. We just talked about how important this was at the time of Olivia Newton-John's death, which was a huge astrological ritual.
Was it? Olivia Newton-John's death was a huge astrological ritual. Sounds a bit weird.
Sounds a bit weird. All right, here, let's just go back and look. She died in Leo, right? Let's go back and look. Covered so many celebrity deaths by the numbers since then. Let's see. So, the Masked Singer Australia did the tribute tour the day before the news of her death broke, which was one of the weird things. She died at age 73. Call that the sacrifice number. Sacrifice and ritual sacrifice 73, like Masked Singer in Australian. The Australian Masked Singer the night before her death. Okay. It was synced up with the Scientologist John Travolta, her big movie co-star. She played the Greek muse in Xanadu, and she died 42 years to the day of that film's release. 42 years to the day. Astrology's 42. And there are 88 officially recognized constellations. 88 officially recognized constellations. She's dead on 8/8, so yeah. I would say that, yeah, it looks like astrology was a big piece here. She died on a 58 date numerology, muse, zodiac, star, calendar. They're all 58. She died 49 days before her birthday in the time of Leo. Leo equals 49, like Greek muse, what she played. Sounds a bit weird. Yeah, these people are fucking weirdos. Understand, it's not me who's into this. The only reason I spend my time on this is because I see that the psychopaths who rule over us, who manipulate us and mock us every day, they're into this. You know how I figured that out? Because I'm more intelligent than most people. And that's not an arrogant statement. That's just me being honest about the facts. You know what? All of my life, my teachers told me, Zach, you know, you're a special one. Zach, I'm sorry I can't do more for you. You really don't belong in this classroom, Zach. Again, if only I was born into a wealthier family instead I was born into a poor family like most of us. I had to go through slave school, and I spent most of my years having my teachers apologize to me that they knew everything was too boring and dumbed down for me. You know? If you didn't have that life experience, then you can't relate. There's a reason that nobody figured this shit out before I came along. And I'm not saying I'm the smartest person there ever was, because I also know that's not true. I knew a guy growing up whose name was Dan Parks. He was like I don't know, he was like from another planet, he was so smart. But he had no common sense. You know, he also had no street, he was one of those types. Super book smart, but no common sense. Anyway. There's even more to this, but another Xanadu actor was in trouble in the news at the same time in Maryland, at the same time as her death, coincidentally. Kind of the way how it works, the theme news, the ritualistic news. But yeah, sounds kind of weird. Yeah, maybe you should have looked into it, you fucking retard. Maybe you can respond about it in the next video and go, oh dear, listen to the language. That's what I hate too. People are so worried about language. You know, again, look it up. Intelligent people tend to cuss more. That's also a fact. Intelligent people tend to cuss more. And you know why we're so frustrated and venting and cussing? Because we have to live in a world full of fucking retards. You have no idea how frustrating it is to live in a world of lemmings. You have no idea. If you're one of the dummies, be glad. I know Blasted didn't come on. We're still waiting for Blasted. He didn't show up. Another fucking loser that comes in here and goes, you believe this? We don't believe it, you fucking retard. We don't use the word with lie in the middle. We prove our points. There's a difference between evidence and facts. You don't have to believe in evidence and facts. You do have to believe in the moon landing because you don't have any proof it ever happened. You do have to believe in the moon landing, and you do have to believe in a lot of science. A lot of supposed science. Science. You got to believe in it. You got to believe that all of a sudden the new science says you need a slave muzzle on to be safe from the germs. You know, you don't need the biohazard suit anymore. Now you just need a cotton mask or a paper one or saw some kids in like Halloween stores or in the store with a Halloween mask. I mean, I was like, God, they're even letting kids in with Halloween masks? How stupid is this? It's all about compliance. See how many tards will comply. All right, here, let's continue. Back to ScamManDan. Speaking of tards, here we go.
Monday, named after the moon, which rules Cancer, dead from cancer. If you missed the work, go back and look at it.
Well, I'm convinced.
But notice also, when you run the alphabetical order in reverse with numerology, Libra, Federal, Masonry, Secrecy, those words that were 33 become 39. Again, just going with the 39 to 42.
Seriously, guys, how many takes do you think ScamMan does in his edited videos? How many times do you think he did the playback like, I'm convinced. Oh, let's do a retake. I'm convinced. Oh, let's do another one. I'm convinced. You are a fucking loser. God. He said he has a wife and kids. Can you show me a picture of your ugly fucking family? I'd hate to see your busted wife. Here, let's continue.
2-day mission. And just to remind, NASA, they began in July 29th, 1958. By the way, if anybody out there is wondering, well, what about Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and their space missions? All by the same code, all with the same rituals. I've been showing for years how easy it is to see that Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, the rest of them, they're all clearly Jesuit puppets. And if you haven't done the time to read my books or watch the videos and read all the posts put out on this, again, you don't have an argument. Go back and do the research on what I put out and then see if you can debunk it. I guarantee you cannot.
Are you absolutely sure about that? Here's a quick reminder. Bingo. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to manipulation. In the last section.
Watch this. This is the fact that he thinks this is manipulation just shows how fucking dumb he is. And there's even more to this 129 thing than what's here. Again, the whole Emmett Till bullshit happened when Joe Biden was 12 years and 9 months old. The fact that he thinks this is manipulation just shows how stupid he is. Here we go.
You referenced Biden's birthday and you had the first date, November the 20th, included in your count.
For people who forget what this is, again, Joe Biden passed an Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. And remember, then just like days later, they found an old Emmett Till document in the bottom of a court basement, just coincidentally. But watch what he says is manipulation. I mean, just think about this right here. Just the fact alone that the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill was on Joe Biden's 129th day of his age. He thinks this is disproving what I'm doing. You got to be so fucking dumb to think you're making a favorable argument here. This is only going to appeal to the dumbest of people, your argument you're making. You're actually proving my point and showing how stupid you are. Here we go.
But you have the second date, 29th of March, up to, but not including. This is where you get the 129 days. Now, as you move on to Obama, you include both the dates you are referencing. You manipulated the result.
And again, for people who are new here, I'm always showing that this is how you got to look at it. You got to look at the days till and also look at the span of days, because a lot of times both numbers are relevant to the ritual. And we prove this day in and day out in rigged sports. So this isn't manipulating. This is the way the system works. There's a reason that we'll say it's 129 days after somebody's birthday. If you look at some sports websites, they keep track of people's birthdays and what day it is. Some keep track of the total day of the age, like the 130th day of the age. Another website will show that it's 129 days after the birthday. That's just facts. And what he's also not showing you, because he's cherry picking, again, I made the point that it's an anti-lynching bill while Loretta Lynch is 62 years old. And you can see it on the screen, the word Lynch is 62. But hold on, let me pull up Loretta Lynch here. Loretta Lynch, I just want you to see something. Her birthday is May 21st. That is the 141st day of the year. This was part of my video that he skipped over. But you see how that's the 141st day of the year? Look at Emmett Till in Gematria. Emmett Till. 129 forwards, 141 in reverse. So they have this perfect ritual 129 days after Biden's birthday and a span of 129 days to Obama's. Again, you could only pick out one day on the calendar year where it's going to work out that way. So if you're not a moron, you'd realize that. You'd be like, well, that's the day you would have to do it to get that to work out. So that's the reason they chose that day. And again, Loretta Lynch, whose name is 140, or who's born on the 141st day of the year. And again, she just happened to be 62 years old at the time. And this guy thinks that, ooh, see, gematria, it's all manipulation to make it work. Dude, you're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking moron. And you're the one that's cherry picking shit because you didn't scroll down the page a little bit more and show the rest of that. Then your audience might be like, damn, I don't know. Could that be a coincidence? As dumb as your fucking audience is, they might still think it's a coincidence. God, can you imagine being one of ScamManDan's nut hangers? Talk about a pack of fucking goons. I don't know if you guys have seen this viral video on Facebook right now, the monkey in the zoo. It's out there on Facebook. It's probably on other social media platforms, but it's actually pretty funny. Sweet lady keeps up on all this, but the monkey puts his finger up his ass, and then he smells it. Have you guys seen this? If you have not seen this, go out and look at this clip. It'll make your day. He smells his fingers, and then it's almost like he's a perfect actor. He throws his hands up and just like passes out and falls straight out of the tree. But when I watched that last night, I was like, God, that's got to be like the level my fucking critics are on. Just a bunch of stupid fucking monkeys. ScamManDan. All right, let's continue.
To get 129 each time. Dear oh dear, Zach. Anyhow, Zach has one more slap in the face, he calls it. Let's have a look.
For just another slap in the face with the numbers, the manned rocket they're going to use for the moon mission is 322 feet tall. 322.
Okay, 322, right.
And again, Skull and Bones, the powerful secret society at Yale that's modeled after the Knights Templar for how they buried their dead in an ossuary. Again, the Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo, and for a Masonic lodge to be opened, those who are considered modern-day Knights Templars have to be on the scene for the opening of the lodge. So again, all these things are connected. Templars, Jesuits, Catholic Church, modern Freemasonry, who build all those nice Catholic cathedrals, of course, the builders. But anyhow, 322 is the number of Skull and Bones, which is large and in charge in D.C. So many rituals in that city with 322. But again, it's part of this Masonic Jesuit alliance.
That's all well and good, but according to NASA's own fact sheet about the SLS launch system, it's 321 feet tall. Well, to be fair, it's 98 meters, which is 321.522 feet.
So it would round to 322. And again, I mean, how many articles are there, including the one that was just on the screen that I was showing? Artemis 1, 322 feet. I mean, how many articles are there that show this? You know? This guy's just a little twerp, okay? Like all of them. I mean, it's been posted everywhere. I mean, you can see on the screen. Does anyone refer to it as a 321 foot tall rocket? Nope, because it doesn't round to 321. And is it arbitrary that it's 322 in light of how important that number is to Kabbalah, which is where this whole code of gematria comes from, which I teach you about all the time? Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. Kabbalah's tree of life, 3 pillars, 22 paths. What's in Genesis 3:2:2? Oh, the mention of the tree of life, the physical model for Kabbalah. You know, the most infamous secret society in the world, which has so much influence in D.C. over the federal government, Skull and Bones 322. A number we've used to call all sorts of things. I mean, these are just dumb arguments. I'll just keep scrolling through. Look at all these articles that mention it's 322 feet tall. NPR. Every liberal's favorite news station. Even liberal NPR says it's 322 feet tall. Okay. Literally not one good argument made by this guy. So you don't need to see why he doesn't want to debate. This guy is a fucking idiot.
So, rounding up much, Zach, to suit your narrative?
Oh, or just saying what's posted in every fucking article written about it? God. I mean, you had to go out of your way to find that fucking measurement at 321.5, whatever it was. God.
Thought so. Well, there we go.
Thought so. No, dumbass.
Let's finish up with Zach and his gematria nonsense for another episode of Tim Ford.
Oh, his gematria nonsense. Again, as your own video pretty much debunked your last one. Your last video, you spent all your time making fun of 147. Now we got the launch at 147. You just skip right over it. And again, this represents, though, why we are where we are. Fucking idiots will never admit they're wrong. And they'll just keep going along with whatever they've been told from the authorities their whole life. Pretty much everyone in society is too dumb to think for themselves and just relies on the bullshit of the authorities and makes that their narrative. Well, the authorities said so I'm going with that.
Tuesday, we are all done and dusted. Thank you so much for watching. No doubt this will end up with another raft of tweets from Zach asking me to debate him on numbers. Amazing. Thank you so much for watching today. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. If you really enjoyed it, please hit that like button as well and consider sharing. Just enough time to once again mention the Runman channel. Please do check out.
I just wanted to think about that he just even acknowledged that. And he does respond right away on Twitter whenever I call him out. Again, what's with all these people that like to make videos about me, but who won't debate in live streams? What's it all about? What's it all about? It's because they know they're disingenuous. They know they're not going to win the argument. You know, they have to sit there and edit and make sure they've presented their disingenuous argument in the best light possible. God. This guy is pathetic. We're going to play it till the very end so we get every last word in there.
If it interests you, I've got massive plans for 2023 on that channel, so take a look. I've been ScamManDan. Have yourselves a great week, and I'll see you on Friday for part 3 of Flatzoy's debunk of Professor Dave. See you then.
Okay, so if you guys want to go check out ScamManDan, there's his channel. And let's see, is this the real sports gematria? Is it sports gematria representing Professor Dave? Or ScamManDan? Hello? Are you there? Okay, stage fright, I guess. If it is the real sports gematria, that guy is one of the biggest losers on all of Earth. One of the most maybe the most dishonest and disingenuous person on all of the tube, who sits there and records everything just to slander and is just totally full of shit and then keeps making videos about me, calling me a fraud. It's just like, you are the fraud. It's you who's the fraud. Again, he knows damn well when I'm right, and he'll be like, oh, let me cherry pick the one spot where I can make it look like he was wrong. Fucking loser. All right, let's go to Glitch678. What's up, Glitch678?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up? Are you representing ScamManDan?
Hey, I just want to say that Anybody who thinks that John's done.
Hold on. You're not real clear. It's something about it's kind of going in and out. So I want everyone to hear what you got to say. So just if you can fix your mic or just make it more clear, we are listening.
Okay, how about now?
That's better.
All right, man. You've had your channel down 1 time. That's all you need to say. All right.
You cut out again. I've had my channel what?
You've had your channel down 22 times.
Oh yeah, it's been deleted a lot of times, right?
All right. And what do? You just talk about numbers all day long. And then you get banned because you're about to gather a huge fan base. You would have had probably 1 million subscribers by now.
I would easily have 1 million subscribers by now because I was growing very rapidly in 2016. And again, the way YouTube works is dirty. They deleted this channel for the first time right before I finished my first book when I had a huge audience and was getting huge views. And I mean, it was just, I never raised a dime off anything. It was the first time I was going to raise any funds, and then they delete the channel while I announced that I'll be back in 2 weeks with a finished product with the book. And then what happened in those 2 weeks I was gone? They just deleted the whole channel. It didn't even get a third. Well, actually, they did. They gave it 3 quick strikes for videos that had been up for like 4 years, but it had no strikes when I said I was going to be gone putting the final touches on the book. And again, it's just like how they've, by the numbers, banned my books and hacked my accounts. I mean, yeah, that's why it's just so annoying for people to be like, oh, this gematria stuff's so stupid. It's like, yeah, if you guys have been paying attention, I've been teaching a lot about certain numbers, and then they've even used those same numbers to come back and harass me in my own life, like banning the account on the 74th day of the year, banning the book on the 74th day of the year, hacking all my online accounts on the 74th day of the year. Again, the word gematria equals 74, pretty much the most special number in this code. Again, what did they do for Christmas Eve on my 33rd birthday? I have a car crash through my house. I put up with so much shit over the years, and it is for putting out this knowledge. And again, I mean, there's very few people who in the time I've been here who've made a video to help out. There's been countless videos like this from ScamManDan trying to make fun of the work, and they're always disingenuous bullshit. Glitch, I appreciate you coming on and making the point you did. Your connection is really broken up. But go ahead if you have another thought to say.
I see like people like ScamManDan. They're actually making you famous. He has 500,000 subscribers. You're never going to get this. They're going to ban your channel. So you need to help the guys. They're actually helping you indirectly. And you're getting the word out. Also, I want to say that I don't understand why you think that there are graduates who actually are doing this behind the scenes. Like, do you know how complicated that would be? This would have to be like some first computer, like
Glitch, I'm having too much trouble hearing what you're saying because your connection's broken up. So.
Okay. I'm saying that I don't even think graduates are aware of these scripts that you're deciphering. I think you're the only one.
No. Again, they synced up the language and the calendar, all this stuff in the 16th century. Again, Jews who converted to Catholicism when they're already aware of this knowledge gematria. I mean, you have to use your logic. This knowledge comes from Jewish mysticism. So there are people in the world who are aware of it, who work by this practice. 16th century, you got Jesuits, English standardized with the alphabet we use today, all the movement of the vowels, the Gregorian calendar, the heliocentric model, all of these things are perfectly synced up. I mean, it's the simplest thing to understand is the word Pope equals 52. We have a 52-week calendar named after a Pope. That is not arbitrary.
I understand that. I think that you're picking up on information that I don't think humans are picking up on. I think that there are interdimensional beings who are aware of the information and know this. And
okay,
like,
you're going with more like the Nicolas Cage Knowing. For people who have not seen the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage, check that movie out. Again, he figures out a number code and he's able to see the future before it happens. There's also They Live with Roddy Piper, which is alluding to this same type of thing. He puts on the glasses and all of a sudden he can see what he couldn't see before. And then Both those movies at the end, though, not to ruin them both, but both at the end, you find out aliens are running the show here on Earth. And
yes, exactly. I think this information is just so advanced for humans that there's just no way. It would have to be like interdimensional
I'm not
alien.
going to argue against that because it's possible. Again, and They Live. For people who don't know, Roddy Piper said They Live was a documentary. And then what day did Roddy Piper? First of all, Roddy Piper said that on the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by Rome. And then he ends up dying on the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola's death, the founder of the Jesuits. So if you're saying that, like, well, there's something guiding the Jesuits and it's extraterrestrial, it's alien, that's possible. That's possible. I'm not opposed to that theory. It's just, that's even... To me, I can explain the timeline of the Jesuits in the 16th century and people who are more intelligent than others. But I'm not going to say that what you're saying is wrong. It's just I need more evidence. But I guess they are giving us clues in Hollywood that suggest that might be the case. So
Yeah, in the Bible they call it demons, right? There's just no way humans could be this aware of this type of information and could apply it the way you apply it, ahead of time. It's just way too advanced. It's honestly, I think it's the only probable conclusion that I could come up with. And I know it seems a little bizarre, but I mean, just like you said, in They Live and in that Nicolas Cage movie, that's what they say, and it just seems a lot more probable that way. It's just too advanced. For the human intellect to grasp, and even your channel, like, you do a great job, but you usually pick up the numbers. I'm not saying you don't do that for sports betting. You actually pick up the information before it happens. But it's so hard to pick up on these events and all these number patterns and codes, and to see it all happen ahead of time. Honestly, I think that you're like tapping into a secret code that's like a software. It's almost like you're picking up on the human software. You know how computer engineers, they pick up on they create computers and software. You're picking up on the human software here. So you're doing, this is why you're banned 22 times, because you are like a Neo from the Matrix who's hacking the system, and YouTube, and you're probably, these Masons, they're aware of this, and they're just shutting you down every time because you're like the glitch. You are the glitch in the system. And honestly, man, I don't think you know how impressive your work really is. You have the most important channel on YouTube, bar none. Bar none. I can tell you that right now. And I don't say that because, I'm just saying it. I know this to be a fact. You are the most dangerous YouTuber on YouTube because you have the most complete knowledge of Gematria, which is a software program that is designed for the Matrix, and you allow your audience to pick up on codes that nobody else is deciphering. I guarantee you that CIA, FBI, military industrial complex, all of these secret agencies are close to, your proximity. They're watching you closely, and they're using your information, and they're probably tapping into it and learning themselves. That's how valuable of a channel that you possess here. And this is why you will just continuously be banned, and you will never reach 100 or 500,000, a million subs. It just will not happen because you are the Neo, you are the coder, the greatest software coder of human existence, of humans, not computers, right? And that is a dangerous man right there. I just want you to know you are a very dangerous man. And then I'm just gonna exit, and you can finish off where you want.
All right. Well, I appreciate the compliment, Glitch. And I will say there are a lot of people who have learned, and because they've learned, they're doing a very great job decoding. And some of them are probably watching right now getting annoyed because in their head they're going, no, I'm the best decoder there ever was. And again, you guys, I mean, I always said when I first found this knowledge, there will be smarter people who come along who will take it even further. But yeah, I do appreciate some of the things you said, because there is, I mean, the real reason that my channel's been banned and destroyed is because they do not want people accessing this information. It does turn on some people's minds, and it does free them from this matrix. And your theory about what really might be running the show, I mean, it is entirely possible. So maybe one day we'll know for sure. But I appreciate it, Glitch. Thank you.
Ciao. Thank you.
All right. Take care, man. Thanks. I'm gonna give Sports Gematria another try, in case like I caught him on the John. Sports Gematria, is it really you, or is it just somebody that just wants to come on and just pretend to be? I honestly don't think Sports Gematria has the balls to come on here. Yeah, he's just gonna sit there, or maybe it really is him, because he is ballless. Sports Gematria, prove me wrong. If the real Sports Gematria is out there, come on, Sports Gematria. Oh, shit. I just got a strike on Gematria Effect Sports right now. That's the other channel. What? Come on, man. You know what video they just gave me a strike for? On Gematria Effect. Gematria Effect Sports is now suspended for a week. Isn't it funny? Right after that guy gets off the call, I get struck on Gematria Effect Sports. Here, I'll show you the latest censorship. Gematria Effect Sports now suspended for a week. Hold on. I'll show you the latest email. It was my video about last week, what happened on 11/28 to Clarence Gilliard. Let's see what they took it down for. These people, man. All right, here it is right here. Hi, Gematria Effect Sports. Again, for people who don't know, I have several channels. I have to always be shuffling because I'm always getting strikes. This just got sent to me 4:27 Pacific. That's 3 minutes ago. You can see right there, 3 minutes ago. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our hate speech policy. We've removed the following content from YouTube. Well, it was finally a video that got some views. I think it was like up to, not that the views were that great, it was like 15,000 views, but that's more than I can typically get these days. Back in 2016, I used to get that many views in 10 minutes, but again, just for people who don't know how it works, very, very vague. How your content violated the policy. Content glorifying or inciting violence against another person, which I didn't do, or a group of people is not allowed on YouTube. Okay, I didn't do that. We also don't allow any content that encourages hatred of another person or group of people based on their membership in a protected group. We review educational, documentary, artistic, and scientific content on a case-by-case basis. You honestly think they would have liked the video, because I was showing how, you know, last year Kanye West was connected to Virgil Abloh's death, and then this year Kanye West is connected to the latest French designer scandal, and the news breaks on the same day, 11/28, and I was explaining why that day, and why Clarence Gilliard's whose last movie was The Beast, why he died 6 years after that movie came out at age 66. Again, 11/28. The date is the 47th triangular number. 11/28 is the 47th triangular number. That means if you had 1 through 47, it equals 11/28. Beast equals 47. That day is 174 days after Kanye's birthday. Number of the beast is 174. France is also 47. Last year it was Virgil Abloh connected to Louis Vuitton in France and his Off-White brand, which equals 47. This year it's that other brand that I keep forgetting the name of. Balenciaga, blah, blah, whatever it is. But yeah, I did a stream about, you know, these deaths. And I just reminded that in the video that gematria is a Jewish practice. And I read the article from 2008 written by a Jewish man about how Jews, well, I guess I can't even talk about it. See, that's the problem. You can't even talk about, I can't even read an article written by a Jewish man about how Jews should be appreciated for creating Hollywood and controlling banking and media and so many things in life. again, there was no hate speech. It was just, I guarantee that's what they took the video down. For me reading that 2008 article about how a Jewish man wants respect for Jews running the world. And again, maybe I'll take, tomorrow I'll be busy, but I think I'm going to try to squeak in some time to call the ADL tomorrow and just ask, how do I go about talking about things? Like, if I'm reading an article about a Jewish man advocating for why Jews should get recognition for all the things they run, and then I'm getting taken down for reading that article for hate speech, like, what is the real offense? Is the LA Times allowed to post on YouTube? I'm pretty sure they are, because it was an LA Times article. But yeah, it's super annoying. It's super annoying constantly being suspended and having, it's like any video that's the other thing that's frustrating for like the last 4 years. Any video that's successful pretty much gets deleted and a strike. It's just like, God, oh, the video got views, so now it got a strike for hate speech or medical. I mean, how many videos have I lost in the last 2.5 years for medical misinformation where there wasn't anything about medicine? There's been a lot, for people who don't know the answer to that question. All right, we got a few more people that came on. What's up? Open up. Open up.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
All right, so I don't know who the ScamManRan is or anything, but I just wanted to mention the guy who called earlier, the glitch guy. I don't know if you remember, but there was a stream a while ago where I think it was you in there, DK Stonewood was in there, and then I'm pretty sure this glitch guy was in there because I could kind of see his face a little bit, but it was dark. But I'm pretty sure it was the same guy. But this guy was the guy who was like, he said he had a friend in like Major League Soccer, or he was in some kind of soccer club, and he was trying to argue, saying like, there's no way soccer can be rigged because he has a friend who's in the league and he knows how it is. And I don't know if you remember that stream, but I'm pretty sure that was the same guy from that stream who was a glitch.
Okay, I don't know if it was or not. It was hard to see his face because pretty much all you could see his nose as it was dark. Is there anything else to this call?
No, I was just saying, I just wanted to mention, like, it seems like now he's he's taking the information in now, so he understands now. But yeah, that's all I wanted to see if you recognize it, because I recognize his voice.
Okay, well, you have a good memory. I honestly don't remember. I mean, if it is the same person and now he's more open to the work, that would be cool. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, good work, Zach.
All right, take care. All right, Free Being. What's going on, Free Being? You got to unmute your mic.
Hello, hey Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me, man? No issues.
You sound good. Yeah.
All right, I'm on Bluetooth. I'm driving. I just got off work. Stopped the stream. I'll be pretty quick. I called in last week too. I don't know if you remember, but I'll call in more. My name is Gabe, by the way, but I just put this down for now. But Free Being, not Free, Glitch. Earlier, I just want to say something. He mentioned something about like CIA and whatnot, and I just personally believe someone with this type of knowledge, like access to it, like you do, like you are, Zach. I believe it just kind of goes without saying, like, and I think maybe a couple people will agree with me that the people who are, if you want to say in charge or whatnot, or whatever you want to, what title you want to give them, there's no way in hell they're humans, or they're 100% human like us. There's just no way, and I know some, I grew up pretty religious, so I know there's like religion tries to kind of give an answer to like the evil in the world. But I'm not saying it's entirely true, but I do believe generally it's demonic. So you can call that aliens or whatnot. And at one point in time in the human history, these forces got, like, they gave access to this knowledge. It's like hidden knowledge that just kind of leaked, and the creator or whatnot kind of he's just letting it play out. They're just letting it play out. And when I say he, the creator, I'm not. It's neither male or female. And I don't. When I say the creator, I don't believe the creator is Jesus. So I don't. Jesus is definitely Jesus is a real person, but he's not the creator. And yeah, that's all I want to share, man. So somebody like the CIA I think like no disrespect to you, Zach, but they have this knowledge and probably more. Like they're definitely not only relying. They possibly are obviously tuning into your work, like no doubt, like somebody likes. But I'm pretty sure they have access to it, and they're on a whole nother level with this shit, and they have access to the demonic forces that I mentioned, definitely. But yeah, that's all I want to say, man. And then just real quick, Zach, I guess I don't want to keep going back to this. This is I know the knowledge is bigger than this, like the bigger picture, but this is like ridiculous stuff like this. Like for example, the Quavo or sorry Takeoff. So I guess just recently they announced his death. They announced his killer supposedly, and the killer was 33 years old, identified as a 33-year-old killer, which they like to throw that number around a lot.
And remember, the other big piece was that it came 31 days later, and Houston equals 31, like Quavo's 31. So many rituals in Houston with 31. Just last year, all three of their biggest sports stars all left town at age 31. So,
Zach, can I ask you, what do you personally think happens to these people? Like, I honestly personally just think the character's killed off. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of theories. I mean, I'm sure there's like actual killings like here and there with these celebrities, but I personally think a lot of them are the characters killed off and the masses are fooled and shit like that, and they know like the person themselves, they don't give a fuck. They'll go with it. They're probably paid out. They're in hiding or something. I'm like, well, I'm just curious what you possibly might. Your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. I only know as much as I know. I don't know if they're faking their deaths to sell more records and get a fraudulent insurance payout for somebody, or if they're actually being killed. I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually being killed. I mean, the people who rule over us are sinister. And I mean, again, these are the same people who start wars and have a bunch of innocent people die in the name of lies. So what would it be for them to just kill a celebrity here and there? I wouldn't put it past them.
100%. Good talking to you, Zach.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, you guys, you'll never see me on here pretending to know things I know. Like that's what bothers me. Like what bothers me now about the channel that's getting the most views for Gematria. He's making videos decoding somebody and saying that then that's proof that they're a clone. And it's like, well, where is somebody doing something by the numbers proof that they're a clone? I mean, there's no logical connection there. And why is this channel getting the most views coming to these totally illogical conclusions? So I'm suspicious of that channel, and I almost feel like that channel is being propped up to kind of make Gematria look like it's this silly, conspiratorial, nonsense, baseless thing, which it's not. Again, the reason I teach what I teach, and to the extent I do, is so that people can see the way rituals are contrived, from rigged news stories to a rigged sports game, just all the things that are sucking people in, a rigged election. To me, it's like it would be nice to be able to answer a question like we just asked me, but at the end of the day, I don't need to answer that question to show how rigged the game is, right?
Yeah. No, right. No, this is that. I agree. And we can, like, any of us callers, like, if we go about our lives and just notice Gematria in play, and we like zone in on like a specific event, we gotta keep in mind, like, don't lose sight of the big picture. Yeah, like I just mentioned the Takeoff incident. That's one incident, but the big picture is not. It's much bigger. It's kind of like what Zach is pushing, and pretty much like the end game is life is almost a complete joke. Like, as we know it, the life that's presented to us, especially us Americans, especially this country. And I just want to say, I mean, generally, I like to believe most Americans are good people. Unfortunately, they're stupid, but they're generally good people, and I like this country, but I fucking hate the government. And I think, I just know deep down inside something very drastic is going to happen in order to just wake people up, and it has to. Myself, you were really on my radar, Zach, when I was like in a period of my time. I was working a security job, and I was listening to a ton of podcasts. I'm really a big fan of stuff like this, and then Gematria came into my life through you, and this was right around COVID. Like, right when COVID was, and I knew right then and there, like, I've always been wary of things, but I knew right away, like, I was the only one out of my family to question it, and I knew, I was like, oh, fuck, we're headed to a scary time, and I'm still the only one that's not, I don't have I can't say it, but I don't have the V word, I don't have that, out of my family, unfortunately, and it kind of like that at first it kind of broke my heart for a bit. I'll be honest, because it's my direct family. I didn't really want this for them, but there's not really much you can do about it. But I knew right away, man. Around COVID, I was like, no, this is no, this is all. It's literally a movie playing out almost. You know what I mean? And they do show it in movies and books and whatnot. But yeah, Zach, I just want to let the other callers get on, man. Nice talking to y'all. Call in more often.
All right, appreciate it. You have a good night. Thank you.
Zach, real quick, sorry. I kind of want to do something like for my personal life, just to like decode. What kind of advice do you have for me? The only thing I've done was like literally just search up my name like on the site. That's it. Like the reason why I say this is there's a certain period when I started tuning into this stuff. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the mind. Like I don't know. But I've noticed like the number 33 appearing a lot in my life. Like right now, for example, when I was about to call you, I knew there was a lot of traffic come, so I just put in my address just to see how far, and it gave me a 33-minute drive home. That's just small stuff. That's not, I don't know, maybe I'm just being too paranoid, but I always see the number 33. I see it at least twice a week or so in my life. Like,
well, look at your birth numerology and decode your name, your parents' names, the people around you, significant other. Just see if there's a pattern, because so often there is. Maybe you'll discover you all have similar birth numerology type of thing. Maybe you got a 33 connection.
Okay. Say that again. What you said on numerology? Sorry.
Your birth numerology. Yeah, you add up the numbers of your birthday to find out what your birth numerology is, and then you can check your name gematria. And again, just the people around you in your life, see if there's a pattern there. So often there is, and then it might be revealing why you keep seeing the same number over and over.
I appreciate it. I'm from Arizona. We're calling from Arizona, so I don't know. I heard Biden's coming here soon, or he's here today. I don't know if there's going to be a gematria related event with this visit. I don't know. Just want to throw that out there. But yeah, Zach, nice talking to you, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a good night. But by the way, just with regards to what I was just about with Clarence Gilliard, the post that I just got this video taken down for why Clarence Gilliard died 6 years after the movie The Beast at age 66 on Beast Day. Remember, Beast is 47. Tampa Bay equals 47. The Bucks are in their 47th season. There's two teams that are in their 47th season, Tampa Bay and Seattle, who just played in Germany in a big ritual. But the other week, their opponents both became 4-7 against these teams in their 47th season. Remember, Russell Wilson, who was the career Seahawk who went to the Broncos this year, had his debut game against the Seahawks on the 47th parallel and stayed on 47 career road wins. So anyway, 47 is the number of the beast. By the way, again, like I always teach people, use this knowledge in real time. When I favored the Bucks to win last night, but said it was going to be a close game, which it was. But again, the lock for when Brady was going to win was when they put up the stat that he had 43 career fourth quarter comes back. So there was probably 3 minutes left in the game. You knew he was getting number 44 versus the Saints. That's a big number with the Saints. But anyway, look at this. By the way, what set up the winning drive was a 44-yard pass interference call. Go figure. But here's the beast thing. Remember, Super Bowl 55 was the Satan Bowl with the weekend where he came down like a fallen angel. Brady won Super Bowl 55 in his first year with the Bucks. But notice, last night he got his team to 6-6, winning on a 6-yard touchdown pass, exactly 666 days after winning the Super Bowl with the same team. And this was at the end of week 13, like Revelation 13 is about the beast, 666. Again, you guys, it's clockwork. And the reason we favored the Bucks, even though it was close, is because they could get to 6-6 in week 13, and 13 is the sixth prime number. And again, he wins on a 6-yard touchdown. So, but the one piece I was missing before the game, and sometimes I catch these things and sometimes I don't, is that it was 666 days after the Super Bowl. Shout out to Bali Go Backwards. He posted after the game that it was, and I said, of course it was. Good one, Bali. And yeah, for people who forget, I mean, here, I just want to go back to the weekend's halftime show in that Super Bowl. Where's the post at? The weekend for Super Bowl 55. The weekend who also flashes Satan at his concert. You see how Satan's 55-10? It was Brady's 10th Super Bowl in Super Bowl 55. Brady stayed on 80 career losses in the game, and Tom Brady equals 35, also like Satan. But the weekend came down with the glowing red eyes like a fallen angel, which equals 55. See how they do it? See how they do it? The score was 21-6 at halftime. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. The weekend born on 2/16. And again, that was a Super Bowl we had nailed dead on both teams, who'd be in it, who would win before the season even began, all from understanding this knowledge. And don't forget, you guys, the last, after Super Bowl 55 happened, I mean, I had a live stream going that had 6,000 people in the stream, and it was going up, up, up. Who knows how high it would have got, but it got shut down. The live stream got shut down by Google, and then I had some kind of like attack going on my computer because I couldn't even get back on the internet. It just kept freezing up and locking up. I got like hacked that day. And again, I got losers in the world trying to make me out to be the bad guy when I'm being attacked from all angles at all times. Who knows how many more people we would have reached that day after Super Bowl 55. We were having great callers phone in. Thanks, Zach. Made a bunch. Dead on again. And I wonder why the stream got hacked and got shut down. Remember when Nipsey Hussle died? We had thousands of people on that live stream too. You guys remember what happened to the Nipsey Hussle live stream? It got hacked. Somebody even took over the live stream and started playing a porn video over the live stream. And then I ended up getting a strike and suspended for a week, and I didn't even do it. It was on the second one. Actually, they didn't give me a strike the first time, but then the same thing happened the next day with my follow-up video. I got hacked again in another porn video, and then I got suspended for that one. Wasn't even my fault. But yeah, again, and 33 points last night in Monday Night Football, MNF 33. It's always about 33 on MNF. See what happens in next week. If you look up the teams that play next week on Monday Night Football, one team can get their 33rd loss in Week 14, and the other can get their 33rd win. Go figure. So, what's up, Paul?
Hey, I don't know if you can see me. I can't. I think I'm on the wrong thing here. But there's Whitney Webb. Have you heard of Whitney Webb?
The name's familiar, but just so you know, I can see you and I can hear you. Whitney Webb.
Okay. Whitney Webb. She just wrote a huge thing on Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Epstein. And one of the guys said he was possessed by a demon, and they were using all of this gematria crap. And she just wrote this huge thing. I just saw it on Corbett, and she is amazing. I think you guys could talk and get a lot done. Okay, just because she has really laid out the work. There's another guy, Sean Ross. He has a YouTube channel, and he's been shut down many times. He knows all about the Swiss Nazis, the money, the banks, and the Queen, and he can follow the line. I think he's going to help out. I'm not kidding you. There's a lot of people out here that can help. Whitney Webb is one. Sean Ross is another. They're intelligent people, and I think you ought to hook up with them. I suffered a brain injury. I kind of blew out a couple of years ago. So during the whole COVID thing, I was recovering. They were trying to give me the old jibbity jab, and I wouldn't take it, right? So I'm in the Freemason capital of the world around here. A lot of people come up and we go down. You know, there's a lot of poverty here, but there's also a lot of money. It's Richmond, Virginia. There's a lot of money here. So I've been running crews since I was 16 years old. I was emancipated when I was 15 years old, and I have been running men around this place since I was 16 years old and willing to go to work until I popped. And they told me to get rid of my, my business. My son took over the business, and I'm here trying to recover, but it's not easy. With my front yard has been turned into, I don't know. It is psychotic out here. These people are worked up. They're crazy. They're passing each other. There's a school right down the street, and they're acting unhinged. I think that they are pumping in some 5G around here like nobody's business, because we got it big time. We're also kind of like Australia. We got the first super Walmart. We got the first super everything. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So there's a lot of people that should talk, brother. And
Help
if I
me
hit
out
the
with,
street, I'm getting my strength back, but there's a lot of people that need to talk. You know?
help me out with Sean Ross. How does he spell his name? Because I used to follow that channel, but I think in all my deletions, that's
K-R-O-S-S.
Say it again.
K-R-O-S-S. Ross. It's a German. It's Sean Ross. S-E-A. I could probably do it on the computer thing here. Hang on. Can I go down to? I'm a little shaky, brother.
Okay. I remember his name though. I used to follow his channel, but it got deleted when I got
yeah.
deleted.
It's one of them was called Guria, G-U-I-R-A. He's German, so he does everything a little weird. Hang on, I'm gonna get the YouTube
I
thing
found his
here.
channel. I got his channel.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's the so him. You know, all I've had to do when I'm around here, and you know, I try to stay busy. You know. And I got a garden, and we got some chickens, and I try to stay busy. But in my spare time, I have watched everything there is to do with virus theory. I've always been a little bit different, you know, a little bit smarter, a little bit more, I don't know, just quick on the take and not so easy to trip up. And I kind of blew out for a little while, and I'm doing good, but it's not good. You know, I haven't seen a doctor in 3 years because they won't see me without getting the thing. So
Yeah, I hear that. I know how that goes.
anyway, it's I believe that they're going to play out their little end of the world scenario, no matter what, especially with the Georgia Guidestone thing. And you know, everything's lining up. There's a couple other channels out there. There's the Steve Fletcher. They're religious people. They're looking for the end of the world. But you know, I like to look at a lot of stuff, you know, and kind of, you know, I like to look around, at least stay informed. But I couldn't even send an email, brother. And every time I try to do an email or something, the computer locks me out, and my wife has to do stuff for me, and it's not cool. So, but you know, I'm getting a lot stronger. So whatever. I quit their stupid medicine, and you know, I make my own bread, and we make our own food, and we try to, you know, live simply. And like I said, my son took over, but you know, it's hell out here. They got these people are all stirred up with fake bull crap, you know, fake race crap. They got the pressure on everybody, you know, and everything's going up but the paychecks. So everybody's stressed out, and nobody's nice anymore, you know, and people are very mean.
Yeah. Indeed.
And I got mean probably about when this started. You know, I got mean with her dad, and I kicked him out Christmas, you know, and I felt bad about that. And I kicked my sister out, my half sister. I had, you know, I got back together with them, and I ended up kicking them out, and I didn't talk to anybody for a long time. I think I had a nervous breakdown. But Whitney Webb and you need to get together, because there was a guy that she was researching with Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell. He worked with the CIA, and he also worked with all the mafia and like the Pope's people and the Jesuits and all of those people. They're all tied together. They're all tied together, and all the numbers and all the gematria and the killing by numbers, from what I can see, goes all the way back in time. I watch like the earliest films that I can find, and the gematria is there. The earliest, I mean, everything's, it's all there. It's weird. I didn't want to believe it, but
they've been doing it for a long time.
Long time, brother. So it is time people wake up. God bless you is all I wanted to say.
All right, Paul. Appreciate you coming on. Stay strong out there. Appreciate the recommendations. You have a good night.
Okay, you too, brother.
All right, take care. All right, we got away from the topic at hand, and that was ScamManDan in his latest video trying to go after me, which, again, I can't even believe that he would put it out, because it's like, okay, if you go back and watch his last video about me, he's pretty much exposing that I was right. And, yeah, I invited people to come on and take up his position because he won't do it himself. And so far, nobody's come on to take up his position. I mean, I know you guys are out there who could take up his position. You guys show up in the comments. You're constantly leaving comments about how stupid this is. But then I just want you guys to come on and use your own voice to explain why it's stupid what I'm showing day after day with proof and evidence that's been mounting for going on a decade. It will be a decade come next August. It'll be 10 years of teaching and exposing and making accurate predictions and forecasts. Yeah, Maxwell and Epstein, you know, more rituals by the numbers. Yeah, I get frustrated that there's so many haters out there, but they never come on, you know, they never come on, so. Another awesome dilemma I have in life, just government is so awesome. I have to renew my tabs for my car, which is overpriced, right? But what's amazing is I cannot renew my tabs with the address I moved to because they don't recognize the address yet in the database, which is government incompetence in light of it being a real address. Here I am in the building right now. So it's like, okay, you don't recognize the address, which is a real address. Therefore, I cannot renew my tabs, which opens me up to, if I'm not renewed in time, then they can fine me. It's just like, God, I hate government, man. And why should we have to pay for new tabs every year? We didn't pay enough taxes when we bought the car. You know what's funny? I went and looked at an electric vehicle recently, just thinking about it. And you know how much you have to pay in tax in Washington State if you buy an electric vehicle? You have to pay an additional $2,000 tax, and they call it the gas guzzler tax because they assume that's how much tax they'll lose over the life of the car and you not buying gas at the pump. It's just like government is the grossest thing, and we just march along to it and just put up with all of its BS. So anyway. John Mendoza, thank you. He says, hey, Zach, I appreciate the work. I decoded one Colombian singer, Patricia Tehran, who died by the numbers. They run it international. Well, indeed, this stuff goes on all over the world. Also, shout out to Nathan. He said it's up on my Odyssey channel, the video they just took down. It's up on Gematria Effect Sports on Odyssey. Charlie Beach chipped in $2. I appreciate it. Kent Woods chipped in $2 and says, does Dan not know about all the Freemasons in NASA? Well, he should, because he's been watching my videos and I've been making that point. Yeah, thank you. And somebody did send a Cash App too. Shout out to King Sosa. Let me say thank you to the person who sent the Cash App. There was one. Oh, shout out to Nicole and Sierra. Two ladies. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Here, the person who just mentioned, Patricia Tehran. Let me just take a look at it myself. Oh, so if this is the same person, this one actually took place a while back in 95, huh? Assuming that's the same person. But yeah, again, the person's point does stand. This stuff takes place all over the world. I've been documenting that for years. So, I'll interact with the chat for a few more minutes. I got to start making dinner here pretty soon. In 15 minutes, I got to end this stream. I might end it sooner if we can't get one person to come on. Again, where is the person to represent ScamManDan's opinion that gematria is bunkin' nonsense? Or who wants to come on here and who saw his video and thinks he made a good argument? Tell me where the good argument was, because literally I saw one of his points was that it's not 53 years anymore, which is like, wow, does the guy not realize it's still 2022 and it is 53 years later? I mean, that was a dumb point. And then he's like, well, his point about 33 is true, but that's only true because Masonry likes 33. And it's like, wait a minute, how does this guy even feel like he's making good points? That's the whole point I'm making, that Masonry, which controls NASA, which is a fact, is all about 33. And that's why they have their launches at 33 minutes after the hour and whatnot. I mean, I was just like, wow, who are his followers? Here, let's do a refresh. Let's see how many likes it's up to now. 3.7K likes on this video. That's literally, it's up to 4,000 likes. And again, I don't believe any stats on YouTube because they take away likes, comments, views from people who actually have a real message. So what do they do for people who they want to have a message out there? Do they give them free likes? I have trouble believing that 4,000 people like this video, you know? Where is the ScamManDan gang at? Yeah, Dan didn't make one good point. He did not. I mean, he made himself look like a moron for anyone who has a brain. And he also brought up 147, forgetting that was the number he made fun of the last time he made a video. And the launch this time's at 147. It's just like, come on. The thing about hitting Charmed One, what Charmed One's, I know Charmed One's a great supporter of the channel, but Charmed One, what you're not getting, Charmed One, it doesn't matter if people hit the like button or not, because YouTube is never gonna, there's certain rules they set in the algorithm. Look at the way every video works. The first 1,000 views, there's usually 200 likes on the video. By the time it's to 2,000 views, there's usually about 180 likes. It's like the likes have gone down and the views have doubled. And then from that point on, there's hardly any likes at all. You have to look at how the algorithm works because it's the same thing for every video. It just like tapers off. There becomes no more likes. The video will slightly go up in views with no more likes. It's the way the algorithm works to censor the videos. It's like they're all systematic. So there's no point in begging people to like the video. But I do appreciate it. It's just, it's futile. You cannot beat the way the algorithm's set up. I do appreciate Charmed One. It's just that there's just no point. It's just Prairie Grove children. Here, let's check it out. We can close out with this, and then I got to make dinner. Prairie Grove children killed in video. You know, you guys, even before Sandy Hook happened, I worked in the last year I worked in a school was the year Sandy Hook happened. And the year before Sandy Hook happened was the last year I worked in a public school. And even back then, we were doing the routine active shooter drill, something that became more and more common in the post-Columbine era. But I still remember what we used to do. You'd turn off the light and you'd tell all the kids to go in the corner that was out of the way of where you could peer through the door because the door had a window on it. And, you know, the principal or the assistant principal would go down the hallway and bang on everybody's door to create like the scare factor because we'd let the students know we're doing the active shooter drill. And it's just like, back then I was just annoyed with this stuff. I was like, this is the same stuff I was annoyed with in high school when Columbine happened. And then we all had to start wearing name badges. It's like, No, this doesn't need to be on anyone's mind. Again, if the news isn't talking about school, I mean, if any of these school shootings have even been real and not government psyops, none of them would have even happened if it was. And again, Columbine's a total psyop. And before Columbine, this stuff was pretty much unheard of. But, and again, if you really don't know that Columbine's a psyop, it's because you never did the research. I mean, they've even put the information out there for more than a decade for people to look at. There is the footage, the nonstop running footage of the day of the Columbine shooting. Watch it yourself, and you'll see exactly what you need to see. During the time of the shooting, there's just guys walking all over with their clipboards out, and they're in white polo shirts and khakis. It's like, who are these people? They're just walking around casually with clipboards while a school shooting's going on? It's a total obvious government drill. And that's the reason they put that footage out there is because they know nobody looks into anything. It's like mockery. It's like they know they can get away with it. But okay, Little Rock, Arkansas, Bill Clinton town, back where that's who the president was when Columbine happened. A Prairie Grove school safety video featuring a fake school shooting suggesting that children of faculty members had been killed has many in the school district fears. By the way, if you guys don't know about Columbine, one of the shooters' birthday is September 11th, and CNN did the story about how he journaled about how he wanted to hijack planes and fly them into skyscrapers in New York City. You think that was predictive programming? The offending video was shown to Prairie Grove teachers receiving a poor response, school district educators told our content partner 4029 News. Is this a real news station? I feel like this is poorly written. According to staff members, the middle school principal, Shane Taylor, presented the video on Wednesday. We know Wednesday has the same gematria as shooting. This must have been last Wednesday. Okay, so this article came out over the weekend, so it was probably last Wednesday, which was November 30th. According to blah, 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 he showed us a video that played somber music. Aubrey Crane, a 6th grade teacher, said, and it was in memoriam style that said on December 14th, 2022, so the anniversary of Sandy Hook, a gunman entered Prairie Grove Middle School. This many people were injured. This many people were killed. Among the victims were the following. And pictures of teachers, personnel, children, our blood children were on the video with their names as if they died in a school shooting, Crane said. Several teachers said that a variant of the safety video was presented at every school building except the junior high. Middle school staff reportedly walked out during the demonstration. They talked about several safety protocols that we aren't even provided in our building, which we've reported, yet they went and stole pictures off our Facebook accounts to make it seem like our kids died in a shooting. I feel unsupported and disrespected, Crane continued. Okay. They returned 11 minutes later, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know if the actual video is somewhere to watch. But yeah, I mean, that is messed up. And again, you think about why they're really doing this, you guys. I mean, people who are asleep don't get it. But school is not about educating the nation's youth. It's about indoctrinating the nation's youth. It's about training them for their citizens' duties. And one of your duties as an American right now is to be anti-American and to be against the First Amendment and to be against the Second Amendment. And imagine what they're doing by constantly scaring all these young generations about how dangerous guns are, how bad guns are. Again, these are going to be the future voters in no time that will overturn all the remaining liberties we have to protect ourselves from the tyrants. And again, I don't see any sign that even the people who are awake and get it are going to help rally the troops and try to make a change. I mean, this community has been trying to do it, but we've been kept very small, so it's hard for us to do anything. There are some interesting numbers there with old Prairie Grove, but I do find it interesting that it's Little Rock. Back when all this started, when the president from Little Rock was in office, who so many major false flag operations happened under. Ruby Ridge, Waco, OKC, 93 World Trade Center bombing, Columbine. I'm sure there was more. Oh, looks like maybe the video's right here. Comes with a Bud Light advertisement. Hold on. I gotta fix the sound. You guys can't hear right now. Give me 1 second. All right. Give me 1 second here to change the setting. John Mendoza had a follow-up with the woman she was talking about. January 1995, her last album was 3/3/95, 43 days after her death. RIP equals 43. And that is the 62nd day of the year. So you could also say it was a span of 44 days. Kill, execution, 44. Killing is 43. John Mendoza's talking about Donna, Texas. That's where, yeah, right, the Matrix likes to be. Hold on, let me change these sound settings so you guys can hear this. All right, let's see what they got. This is only 30 seconds though, so maybe it's just start talking about it.
Provided the means to follow these safety protocols, but they're gonna steal our pictures off of our Facebook accounts and make it seem like they died in a shooting. I feel completely unsupported and completely disrespected.
Listen, you got hundreds of teachers threatening to walk out. You don't want to listen. You can care less about your teachers.
You're gonna walk away.
That's until election day. This is your program.
Okay, so that is about the same story, but I don't know if the video is actually out there anyway, but some school districts are more messed up than others. Anyhow, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. My guess is ScamManDan probably won't ever really debate. And again, the thing about a ScamManDan account, again, isn't even real? Are these all bot accounts commenting? I mean, again, if any of these people are real people, Jonathan Powell 1470 watches video and said, the fact the launch was moved, essentially throwing everything he said out the window, is absolutely brilliant. Well, he didn't even cover it in the correct light. The point was why the ritual was on Michael Jackson's birthday. I swear conspirators just love failing. The only fail is this video. This video fails in all sorts of ways. And again, your idol over here, he only exposed himself as a shit for brains loser with no common sense, which I guess you have to say what that says about yourself since you're following him. If NASA is working hard to get all these numbers to fit, it is even more impressive than launching spaceships. Well, in a way, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Zach thinks NASA changed the launch date due to his discovery of the cable. I think they meant to write cabals. Cabals planned to launch on the days that suited their plans. What plans, you ask? They'd only exist in Zach's fevered imagination. Well, again, for the person out there who doesn't know what they're talking about, go look into what we showed about the Houston Rockets and their huge upset that day over the Mavericks on the day of the launch. And again, just another example of how sports and news is synced. And we were talking about the Houston Rockets and SpaceX and what they were doing with them years ago. The same stuff goes on year after year. It must be absolutely exhausting having to ascribe numbers to just about every aspect of life. What I do, I find it simple. I find it easy. So I don't find it exhausting at all. But to lemmings who can't do simple math and have no logic or seemingly many IQ points, maybe it is exhausting. Maybe it's exhausting to do elementary math. I love how numerology works in English, a modern language that is constantly changing. Well, if you knew anything about what I'm pointing out about the 16th century and English and the calendar and the rituals that have been going on ever since, maybe you wouldn't find what I'm saying to just be, again, these people, they think they're so smart with their little comments, but it's because their head's up their ass and they don't know what they're talking about. The rocket may be 322 feet for him, but for the rest of us, it is 98.1456 meters. And you know what? Just to make a little point about both systems, again, distance of the sun from Earth on average, let's pull it up. Let's use both systems. Well, Google's changed what it typically says, and that's what's annoying about Google. But here's what it typically says, space.com, 93 million miles or 150 million kilometers. Okay, notice how heliocentrism has the gematria of 150, right? The model that says the sun is at the center of it all, 150 million kilometers. Notice also the 201, huge number with the Jesuits and the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Notice how order of Illuminati equals 201 and 93 to go with those 93 million miles. And again, Adam Weishaupt ended up dying in history 201 days after the anniversary of the Illuminati's establishment, dying on November 18th, the 322nd day of the year. Again, isn't it interesting how these numbers are connected to the Illuminati, which is a real thing from history? And they're also connected to the distance from the sun, and Illuminati means in the light, and the sun is the source of light. Again, the heliocentric model in the 16th century, like the Jesuit order. Again, whose founder is Ignatius of Loyola, who's 201, like how we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, 201. First to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, which is the Domus Sanctae Martyr, 201. Anyway. Gematria peaked when you made those origami things at school to determine if someone liked you. About as accurate, too. Yeah, about as accurate. Meanwhile, over here, we hold the record for sports futures calls. And again, I know people think it sounds interesting, but look at Nostradamus' resume and then put it up against mine. And I'll tell you what, it's not hard to see which one's more impressive. Imagine if all this was actually true. Someone spent a lot of time making formulas so certain important words all fit. Yeah, and they did, because this is an ancient practice. Isn't it funny? That's just what I hate about people. It's like they live in their ignorance, and then they think everything they don't know about is so stupid. Again, my sister is a class example. My sister literally thinks that Freemasonry is a conspiracy theory. I do need to get off here. Gotta love numerology, getting things wrong since day one. Well, again, you can continue to think that, but we're proving the exact opposite over here. I messed up literally every single data. In my next stream, I'll demonstrate how this is not my fault at all. Gematria Effect News, probably. No, I didn't mess up anything. I exposed why the initial launch date was that. Why the planned ritual was what it was. Okay, so yeah, a bunch of dumb comments that are obviously from people who have no idea what they're talking about. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if they're all bot accounts either. So notice none of these people show up to debate. None of them show up to debate. Zero. You'd think, and the thing was, they were all in my, the reason I found out about ScamManDan's videos is because they're all posting in my comments today, hey, you should check out ScamManDan's new video. So obviously they're around. How come the people that leave those comments don't come on and debate? Again, to me it looks like a bunch of bots. Ballless bots. It does say it all that nobody ever comes on to debate. ScamManDan won't debate. Should tell you all you need to know. I mean, the guy's a fucking loser. And if you can't see that, it's probably because you're a fucking loser. And don't get jealous. Don't get jealous when you're looking over here. Major winner who's turned a lot of people into major winners. You know? Did ScamManDan help his people get on the Pacers last night? Pacers were a huge payout. Gematria pays. Being a little sorry-ass, truth-denying bitch doesn't. Until next time.